All right, Shalom. All right, first and foremost, I'd like to get all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to my apostles of great millstone that rule well, and peace and salutations to all for elect, pushing the word of truth and sincerity. All right. This is Yashar Gabar from the Wisconsin camp branch. Coming at you with a quick lesson, man. About we have to continue to fight the good fight. As we continue to remain in this truth, man, we got to fight the good fight, because every brother, have an individual fight within his ministry. Okay. So it's going to be a little short lesson, man. Not too much, just a quick lesson through the spirit, man, because us being in this truth, man, we got to continue to fight, fight for salvation, fight for deliverance. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we are the elect. Hopefully we are the 144,000 chosen. So the things we got to do, we got to, use these tools to fight. All right. But I'm gonna get into that later. So I'm gonna start at Ephesians 6:10. It says, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might." All right. So how you be strong in the Lord? Continue to fight. Okay. That's how you be strong in the Lord. Let not the world, overcome you in these times. Okay. We got to stay strong and stay vigilant. Okay. In this truth. Okay. It says, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil." All right. So that whole armor, is that full body armor of the truth. Okay. Now, how you put on that armor? Fast. Okay. Read. All right. Pray. All right. These the whole armor of the Lord. So we got to continue to fast, pray, read, do our lessons, and be around the Akim. Okay. And be charitable. All right. It says, "Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil." All right. The wiles mean the tricks, because it's a test. The Lord tests us through, the Lord sent, spiritual demon Satan to test us, man. You know what I'm saying? So he tests us on a higher level or lower level. Okay. So we got to continue to put on that whole armor, read, also reading too, also protect you from, from the tricks and, just, have you deviate your mind from the world. All right. It says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world." Right. The elites, the witchcraft, the warlock, the warlock, activities and shit. They be trying to like put curses up, but the protection is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay. For the brothers that got the truth and sincerity, we protected, from the evil, from the evil works of Satan, man. All right. It says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." All right. It says, "Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day." So we living in evil times, man. All right. We living in bad times. Okay. Because anything in this world is a distraction. Okay. Anything in this world is a distraction. Any evil thing, in a society, it's a distraction. Okay. Matter of fact, let me go up to the scripture real quick. It says, First Corinthians, this is my favorite scripture. This is 1 Corinthians 7:35. It says, "And this I speak for your own profit, not that I may cast a snare upon you, but for that which is calmly, and that ye may attend upon the Lord without distraction." But the world, man, women, all right, women is the main fucking distraction. All right. The cares of this life is a distraction. Everything you see out here in this world is a distraction. All right. Holidays, birthdays, parties, everything is a distraction. Just want to bring that out real quick. So you got to continue upon the Lord, man. All right. That's the putting on the whole armor. All right. So I'm going to go back to Ephesians 6:12. It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. It says, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. All right. Look at the word armor. Whole armor.
Strong's G 3833. Panoplia. Panoplia.
The Greek word panoplia means full armor, complete armor. Includes shield, sword, lance, helmet, greaves, and breastplate. So these are the protection from the evil. All right. Your spiritual shield, man. Okay. Your spiritual shield, like I just explained, reading, fasting, all right, praying, all right. Those are your spiritual armor, all right, from protection from the wiles of Satan. Okay. It says from a compound, full armor, all right, panoply, all whole armor. Okay. Whole armor. So we got to continue to fight the good fight. Okay. So we need all the protection that we need before Yahweh shall return. All right. It says, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day. Because understand that the spirit is going to turn up. There's going to be more distractions, but we got to keep on fighting the good fight, man. It says, and having done all to stand. Okay. Go to Romans 13, and I'm gonna start at 11. So this is time to wake the hell up, man. We in the time of brothers, you gotta really just be circumspect and stay vigilant in these times. Okay. It says it's Romans 13:11 says, and that knowing the time which we know what time we are in. It's important to know what time we in, you know what I'm saying, not to be walking around docile and oblivious to what's going on. It says, in that knowing the time, that now it is high times to wake up out of sleep. But now is your salvation nearer than when we believe. Okay. So the sleep goes back to hypnos, means to be hypnotized. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people out here sleep. A lot of you Jakes, you 2/3, you know what I'm saying, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, y'all sleep. So y'all don't know the time. Y'all know about, the worldly things, man. The partying, which I'm gonna get to that next. It says the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness. So for brothers coming this truth, man, you got to cast off the works of darkness, which is this world and distractions. Okay. Everything you did in this world, you got to cast that shit off when you come in this ministry. It says the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor. See, the armor of light, this truth. Okay. Put on the armor of light. All right. It says, let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness. Okay. So, rioting, feasting, drinking, parties, just being out there loose and shit, just being out here reckless and careless, man. We is not, as men of the Lord, the prophets, we are not, we is not built to be out, out there, rioting, doing different shit, doing things we ain't had no business doing. Okay. It says the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envy. Okay. It says, but put ye on the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach and make not provision for the flesh. Okay. It says to fulfill the lust thereof. So your flesh plays a part of the lust. and the provision. Let's look at the word provision real quick.
Strong's G 4307. Paranoia. Paranoia.
And the Greek word paranoia means the forethought, like having a mind to do wickedness. Okay, you thinking about, you thinking about wicked shit in the flesh. Okay. It says forethought, provident, care, or supply. Providence, provision. Okay, you make a provision for the flesh. All right. Lust of the flesh, man. So you sit here thinking about the lust of the flesh, thinking about lustful things, thinking about things that is contrary to the Lord, and you basically supply or care or supply it. All right. So we gotta pray. That's when praying and fast come in. That's where your armor comes in. Okay. It said, but put ye on the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. All right. So to have those desires, of wickedness, have that want that you want to commit a sin, even though we're in the flesh, but we ask for forgiveness of Yahweh Bashem Shai. And and Lord have mercy upon the brothers, that's going through, personal demons fucking with us, fucking with them, fucking with us, fucking with me. All right. So these the armors we got to put on, man. Like I said just now, fasting, all right, reading, and praying, man. We got to pray more. Like the apostles say, we got to pray more, man. All right. Let's check out this word wantonness real quick. Let's look at the word chambering. A place for lying down, resting, sleeping. Right. Adultery. Cohabitation, whether lawful or unlawful, sexual intercourse. All right. Chambering, wantonness. See, these the wicked things that we got to avoid, in this truth. That's what putting on that armor is about, man. Wantonness, unbridled lust, excess, lasciviousness, unbridled lust, like you just doing, you just doing unnecessary shit. All right. Filthy lasciviousness, all the same, man. Your flesh is your main enemy, man. All right. Say, let us walk honestly in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying. And these the traits that the world is portraying. Okay. Drunkenness, chambering, wantonness, strife and envying. These are the worldly traits that we got to watch out for in this ministry. Okay. Like I said, we're in the flesh, but we got to be circumspect. Okay. We gotta watch our spirit and watch other brothers' spirits. It says, put ye on the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. So we are in the time of being sober, and watching everything through the spirit. Okay. This is 1 Peter 5 and 6. 1 Peter 5 and 6. Matter of fact, let me read 5. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject to one another, and be clothed with humility. For the Most High resisteth the proud, and give grace to the humble. Right? You younger brothers that's coming in this truth, coming in this faith, man. You gotta submit yourself to the elder, which is the ones that's over you. Okay, through the spirit, your spiritual fathers, man. All right. That mechanism watch over your soul. You know what I'm saying? Brothers, older brothers, watch over your souls. Make sure you won't go off into the deep end, which is the world. Okay. It says, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of the Most High, that he may exalt you in due time. All right. So you got to humble yourself, man. All right. That's the only thing you got to, that's part of the fight, man. Humble yourself, don't overexalt yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't be charismatic, doing things you ain't supposed to be doing. You're supposed to humble yourself, you know what I'm saying? So the Lord basically is gonna, exalt you in due time, man. Because the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai loved the humble servant. Humble yourself, therefore, under the mighty hand of the Most High, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he cares for you. All right. Why you gotta cast your care? Because he's a jealous power. Okay. Cast all your care upon him, for he cares for you. All right. So when all hell break loose, that's the one that's going to protect you. Yahweh Shema Shai is going to protect you with his angels. It said, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, right, your enemy, all right, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking who he may devour. All right. So you got to be very vigilant. You got to watch things in the spirit. Now, let's check out the word vigilant real quick. Vigilant.
Strong's G 1127. Gregareo.
It's a Greek word, Gregorero. Greg Orero, right? Shalaki for my mispronunciation of the word. It says to watch, metaphor, to give strict attention, to be cautious, active. And that's our main thing, man. We got to be cautious. We got to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? We got to be active. Okay? That's part of our armor right there. I mean, we got to pay attention, man. We got to, pay attention to the things around you. Okay? Pay attention to what's going on in this world and this society. All right? Because this society is crumbling. Okay? It says, give strict attention, to be cautious, active. It says to take heed, lest through remission and indolence, some destructive calmly suddenly overtake one. So if you're not paying attention and you're not being, you're not giving heed to yourself, you're not being circumspect, the world is going to overcome you. All right. Look at the Strong's definition. Say to keep awake, watch, literally or figuratively. Be vigilant, wake, watch. All right. So we got to continue to watch, man. Stay awake. All right. Stay sober, clear minded. Okay. It says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, is as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking who he may devour. Okay. So you don't want to overcome. You don't want to get overcome by Satan, man. You don't want him you don't want to get devoured, by the spiritual demon Satan, man. All right. It says, whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. Okay. So we got to be steadfast in the faith. And that's part of our, that's part of our culture, man, being in the faith. Faith is the substance of things I hope for, and the evidence is not seen. So that's the main thing in this true faith. Okay. Look at that. But yeah, man, we gotta be, we gotta submit ourselves, which I'm gonna get that next. Okay. So we gotta keep on fighting the good fight, man, and continue to fight the good fight, because Yahweh Shai on his way. All right. He on his way to save his elect, destroy the 2/3, you know what I'm saying, and overthrow Esau's kingdom, So us men of the Lord, we got to continue to fight and keep doing what we're doing till the Lord return. And that's our main objective. That's our main, our main thing, man, in this truth. All right. So we got to continue to do the work, man. All right. I'm going to go to James. This is a one-hitter quitter. James 4 and 7. It says, submit yourself, therefore, to the Most High. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. How do you resist him? Okay, how do you resist Satan himself? Resist the devil, he will flee from you.
Strong's G 436. Anthistemi. Anthistemi.
Anthistemi, to set oneself against, to withstand oneself. See, that's what I'm saying. See, you got to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, man. Okay, he said to set oneself against, to withstand, resist, oppose. Okay, all right. Matter of fact, let's get a precept real quick. This on Philippians 2 and 12. It says, wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. All right. So if you fear the Lord, you know, working out your own salvation in His truth is a main part of this ministry. All right. It says, submit yourself, therefore, to the Most High. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you, man. You got to resist, oppose, all right? That's putting on the armor, you know what I'm saying? That's fighting a good fight, man. Even though we slip up from time to time, but we still got to fight. You know, even though we're in this flesh, we still got to fight, okay? We're not perfect, all right? But we're going to be perfect in the kingdom, Lord willing, that I am, me personally, that I am the 144,000 chosen. All right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read 8. It says, draw nigh to the Most High, and he will draw nigh to you. See? How you draw nigh to the Most High? Pray, fast, read, you know what I'm saying? Pray and fast, okay? And read, man. Pray and fast is the main thing you draw near to the Lord. And he will draw near, and he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, which is your mind. Okay, ye double-minded. It says, be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter turn into mourning and your joy into heaviness. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Shai, and he shall lift you up. Okay, that's part of exalting yourself. That's part getting exalted in due time. All right. And also it says, speak not evil one of another. Right. Gossiping, backbiting and shit, man. That's not of the Lord. That's not of this truth. It says, speak not evil one of another, brethren. He that speak of evil of his brother and judge his brother, speak of evil of the law and judge the law. But if thou judge the law, thou art not a doer of the law, but a judge. Okay, you're not allowed to speak evil of your brother, backbiting your brother, talking to another brother about another brother, man. That's of Satan, man. Okay, and you had guys that was in his camp was doing that stupid shit, and they ain't around no more. So we got to submit ourselves to the Lord and resist Satan. They didn't resist Satan. That's what happened when you don't resist the spiritual demon Satan, man. That's what happened if you don't do that. You'll be a nigga. You turn into a nigga in this world, man. You don't want to be no nigga in the last days, man. All right, that's a title right there. You don't want to be a nigga in the last days. But anyway, we gotta continue to submit ourselves, and we gotta continue to fight the good fight, man. All right. Let me go to 2 Timothy's 2 and 3. It says, thou therefore, dear heartness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shai Mashiach. All right, you're a soldier. You're alone in this truth, man. Soldier means to be solitary. All right. It says, no man that warreth entangle himself with the affairs of this life, right? This world, man. that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. And if a man also strive for masteries, yet is not yet he is not crowned except he strive lawfully. Let's look at that word masteries real quick. Let's see.
Strong's G 4737. Stephanao. Stephanao.
Greek word stephanao, right? Strive for masteries means to encircle with a crown, like to crown the victor in the contest. All right, that's like you in a race, right? And you be the first one in the first round pick. All right, in the first place, man, you're in that crown. So we got to be in that first place to win a crown, which is the kingdom of heaven. Okay, Shalakia. It said to adorn with a honorary wealth, a crown. So, we basically striving for masteries, man, striving for the kingdom. Okay. So, all for us to strive for this kingdom, man, for deliverance and salvation, we got to fight the good fight. You know what I'm saying? So, and if a man also strive for masteries, yet is he not crowned except he strive lawfully. All right. So we is not entangled in this life. This life, this world is temporary. Everybody celebrate Thanksgiving. Everybody was celebrating Christmas. Now we finna enter to the new year. So that means the spirit is gonna turn the hell up. So we definitely gotta fight a good fight. Okay. I'm gonna get this last scripture. I'm gonna close on out, man. This Sirach 2:1. It says, "My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, Yahweh Bashima Shai, prepare thy soul for temptation." Okay. It says, see thy heart. All right. See thy heart, which is your mind. Go back to Hebrew Lab. All right. See thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in the time of trouble. Okay. Now, you look at that word temptation, man. It means, to desire to do something, especially something wrong or unwise. So it says, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation, right? Prepare thy soul, okay, for desires, all right, something wrong or unwise, okay, because the temptation is really gonna fuck with you. But we gotta really be strong in the Lord and continue to fight the good fight, so you won't get consumed by Satan. All right, you won't get consumed in this world. Okay. It says right here, it says a thing or course of action that attracts or tempts someone. Temptation, enticement. All right, the tempting of Yahweh Shai by the devil. See Matthew 4. But because Satan be trying to tempt Yahweh Shai. He trying to tempt Yahweh Shai to give him the worldly goods, but Yahweh Shai declined and rebuked them. Okay, that's exactly what we gotta be, man. Say tempt you with different worldly things, man. We gotta decline, and rebuke them in the name of Yahweh Shai Shai. All right. What's the true meaning of temptation? Something you want to have or to do, even though you know you shouldn't. All right. You want to mess with a man's wife, and that's temptations. You want to you want to do wicked shit, though you shouldn't, motherfucker. You shouldn't do that. If you trying to line your head, line your beard up, get a crispy lining in you in the truth. Something you want to have to do, some you want to have or to do, even though you shouldn't. All right. If you want to worship other gods, something you want to have or to do, even though you shouldn't. All right. That's temptations, man. You know, because you don't want to fall on the deep end. You don't want to get your ass destroyed. I don't want to get destroyed. The brothers that's doing the work don't want to get destroyed. Okay? That's part of fear, man. You know, fearing the Lord, you know, with fear and trembling. You know? So we got to continue to fight, man, and do the work of Yahweh Bashim Shai and stay grounded and stay locked in. You know? That's our main thing, staying locked in this truth, man. All right? So with that, man, I don't want to be long-winded, but with that, man, hope y'all was edified. I'd like to get all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakwadash, double honors to my apostles, great millstone, peace, salutation to the hopeful elect that's doing the work of truth, sincerity. Shalom.